leave it to Oda. Give us another 10 out of 10 chapter week after week. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Wow. Yeah. Think I'm right now, with it not being over. Yet I can't really make this judgment, but right now I'm leaning toward this whole. Oh, no. I was gonna say this whole God Valley rocks Herald flashback. Loki. It started off as a Loki backstory, but it ballooned out completely. But I was going to say it's probably like my third favorite flashback like sub arc in the series so far. Behind, I mean, I don't think anything will ever top the Kuma Ginny Bonnie stuff. I think for me that's like the peak of all of One Piece. But also, close second, I loved the Odin backstory. I think is also pretty untoppable as number two. But then I'm like, oh, this is firmly going to be number three. And then like I thought about Robin's backstory, I thought about Law's backstory, I thought about the post Marine for Luffy backstory stuff, and I'm like, I can't even rank this stuff. I like went into this firmly prepared to make that statement, and there's no shot. God, it's just I had one of those step back moments where I'm like, it's just so surreal to be seeing all of this stuff that we've been theorizing. Like I realized I've been reading weekly, like we're approaching 10 years of reading weekly, or what, there's breaks of course, but like all this stuff that we've been theorizing this whole time and all this stuff we've been curious about is like happening. They're giving us the information. Oda is doing it. He's like putting it out on a platter for us, and it's just insane. It's just like I literally get chills thinking about it. It's just crazy that we're finally seeing all of this stuff, but yeah, let's just jump into the chapter. I don't know if I have any more to say about that. The cover story. Every week I'm like, is this the end of the Yamato cover story? But I don't remember. Do they say on cover stories? Do they say the finale? I think they might. But yeah, okay. So we see the cover story, and it's like Yamato and them praying to all the fallen. And I read this on TCB, and TCB actually I don't like. I wonder. You know what? Let me pull up the viz right now. I haven't looked at the official yet. So I'll do that as we talk right now. And no break next week. I just, I would read the official, I would wait, but just the Viz, player, or not player, reader on desktop, and the app too, is just so inferior to the fan, not the translation, but the setup is just so inferior that I'm like, I pay for, my justification is I pay for the monthly Shonen Jump membership. I think it's only $3. It's nothing. I pay for the monthly membership, so I'm giving Viz Shonen Jump straight money, I'm paying for these chapters. So my logic on that point is I could just, I could read them when I want to in the format I want to because I'm already paying for it. If I wasn't doing that, I feel maybe a little less ethical about it, but who knows. Anyway, so we got the Yamato cover story. We also got the amazing color spread. Usually interesting. I love that we got both a cover story and a color spread because usually one replaces the other. But yeah, fantastic color spread. I always say I'm gonna make the new color spread as my wallpaper, but I feel like it's always too cluttered. Oh, it always fits so much, but I love seeing it's all the characters collecting the fucking chopper. But yeah, it's all the characters collecting the plushies, and I love how seems like it's Frankie's county squad seems like it's gonna try to win stuff for Robin. Nami carrying Vivi right there. I was dying at Luffy kneeing Boa accidentally. My interpretation, he was carrying her and then she fell because he definitely has non-romantic. I swear to that non-romantic love for Boa as a person. But yeah, I love all these little characters. Sanji collecting all the women. Yeah, it's just a great cover spread. And then the cover story. That's what I wanted to look at is if they do translate it here. They don't translate it in Viz, but they give a helpful little guide to who's who based on the characters. So we got Odin, Toki, Yasue. Um, who's Uzuki Ten? I'm gonna look up some of these. Like, I'm Uzuki Tenpura. Let's see. I don't recognize this guy at all. I don't remember who he is. Omusubi. I don't know. Like, yeah, I don't remember who these are. They're like the mafia leaders. Ushimaru was the guy that looked like Zoro, right? Yeah. That was never completed, right? And there's some that are blocked on the bottom. Izuru Pedro, Kurozumi. Who's the Kurozumi? Ashura Doji. Zotaka. Sorry, I'm like going on a whole tangent. I'm just very curious. Yeah, I don't know. There's some interesting stuff. Comment if there's stuff I'm missing. But yeah, back to the chapter itself. This was, an absolutely phenomenal chapter. I love how like explicit the diet like Melon T was talking about this on her last stream for the last chapter, where she's like, Oda is so sick of like people severely misinterpreting his clearly interpretable story, that he's like getting more explicit like with like his messaging, where yeah when what's her name, Saint Maffy grabs the babies collect 20 babies. Dragon's like, wait, those babies, they're my only chance to help atone for the setup, from helping to set up this twisted murder game. Like, I guess, like, you can't get more explicit than that in the theming. Like, no one can interpret this like in any other way. But yeah, it seems like the Holy Knights have this regeneration ability already, because we see Maffy get cut in half and then immediately like reconstruct. Getting Discord messages. I always forget to close out Discord before I start recording, but yeah. Sorry. They're like distracting my train of thought, but yeah, I my first temptation was to say that Maffy is Killingham's like direct like mother or sibling or something, and Killingham filled that role when she died, but I don't think they're the same family name. Because I think, right? Let's double check. No, he's from the Remo Shifu family, which is a different family. This is the Satchel's family. I thought they would have been related, but it's a very like I'm very interested to see like why the Holy Knights have like their own unique aesthetics every time. They could like just be pirates, just based on the aesthetics, and it's interesting like why they all look so different when all the Celestial Dragons look the same. Maybe like, I mean, I know there's like pure like inbreeding amongst the main group of the Celestial Dragons, but like don't think the Holy Knights are inbreeding. Maybe that's why, but like it is weird that they get to choose their own aesthetics and styles while the rest are like all in this uniform. It seemingly want to be all in the same uniform, to distinguish themselves. So it's interesting. I'm interested to learn more about how that works. I know it's probably the rule of cool, but but part of me wants to believe that Oda thought it a little bit more than that. But God, I love her design. It's like so ridiculous. Yeah, there's one panel that was like God tier, where this isn't even hot enough to cook a prime rib with. God, that panel, that so funny. Very Luffy-esque too, very Luffy-esque. And then Lin goes, fuck. Like, oh yeah, I wanted to see what they translate that as. It's gonna be like darn or something. Let me find it. Where was it? Damn it! Yeah, I knew it. I knew it. I was like, my prediction was damn. So yeah, I knew they would hold their punches with that. But I think that as little as we get to see of her and how awesome she is for being part of a fascist regime, um, but Saint Matthew, I would love to see more of her. But I have a feeling like when she shows back up to Garling with only one kid, he's gonna just kill her immediately, and that's why she's not in the current story. That's my thinking, at least. Yeah, so we got, it's interesting to see how insanely high regarded Garp is, where like everyone is bolting from him. I always thought he was incredibly strong when toe to toe to Roger, but I didn't think he was like this level at least yet. But it seems like, yeah, yes, I'm not really into the whole power scaling shit, of course, so I'm not going to dive into that more. I'm more into the narrative and the characters and the themes, but you do you. And who Maffey is talking to, I wonder, it could be someone in the Marines. My first thought when I was reading it was it's like the weird little hat God Knight, but or Holy Knight or whatever. But I don't think it is. I think I just misinterpreted the paneling when I first read it, because I'm looking now and it's like clear division between what's happening there and what this guy or girl is doing. So yeah. Let's dive into the rescue, the Shaki rescue sequence. Incredible. A lot of people like hate the damsel in distress trope, but that's the thing. Like, and I think people are severely misunderstanding. She's not. Like, think about how strong she's being, where she's like acting emotionless, like none of the like no emotion, like completely stern, completely emotionless, and the fact that she, despite all of this, has the strength to just kick Sommers like that after he slapped, like such a powerful character. I love her to death. Like, Shaki stocks are way up. But yeah, and I think the scene that impacted me the most was like, after Rayleigh successfully rescues her. Yeah, sorry for the delay. I'm here for you. How in that moment she just lets it all out, like all of that, like that facade she's putting up for probably like a year. It's been a year since she was captured, right? Where all the facade she's been putting up, probably all the strength she's projecting, all the back talk, all of the sternness, like just to be able to do that and just collapse and let it all out. God, that broke me. It's so good, so good. Literally getting chills reading this section again. And Rayleigh crying too. I'm sorry for letting it come to this. And her admitting she was so scared, like God, I wanted to see what Rayleigh said though, like in the background, never ever, and then it's cut off by Gabon and Roger crying. But yeah, I really love that Rayleigh cries in this sequence because I think it's very important. I think like Oda does this a lot in the series, like a good ideal of what masculinity should be, and I think it's so hard to find, especially in like mainstream shonen manga. And the fact that Oda has him break down and crying with Shaki here, I think, is incredibly powerful. And, it shows young boys who are like the primary audience of the series, like, this is okay. Like, you can show emotion, you can cry, you can hug someone and cry again. Like, it's, and I think it's really powerful and special that Oda decided to do that. But, I am so nervous right now because, like, and we know Shaki and Rayleigh don't die and they live together. They kind of get their happily ever after, which is amazing, and it makes me so much less worried than I would be, if we didn't know that. But what I'm interested in is I feel like we're sort of like God Valley is definitely intended to parallel Marineford, it's definitely. But I'm very worried because we're at that moment, we're at that like height, the incredibly high before the devastatingly low, where like the Roger Pirates got Shaki. They have her in their possession and they're gonna escape with her. And it's like, okay, Luffy did this with Ace. Like something's up, but we know it's not gonna happen to one of them. So I think it's obviously the low point of this is going to have to do with Rocks. I think he's probably. I'm still standing by my theory that he gets Dami reversed, and that's why they have to stop him. But we don't know for sure. We know there's going to be immense tragedy here. That's brewing. You can just feel it under the surface here, where it's like, with all of the storytelling tropes that we know from Oda, like, this isn't the end. This isn't the end. I thought this would be the wrap up chapter for God Valley, and then we'll go back to Herald to finish up the story. But it's not. It seems like we got to have at least got to be 2 or 3 more of God Valley specifically, and then we got to wrap up all of Herald and Loki too. So we have a while probably until we're out of this flashback again and back in the modern day. It has been a while since we did get that. Let me see if I can find exactly how long it's been. I'm actually very curious for that. Am I not logged into Shonen Jump? I'm not. Let's see. View all chapters. Yeah, okay. 1152 was the last, right? It's the last, it's the start of the, flashback. So that was the last chapter. We're on 1161. We're approaching, next chapter will be 10 chapters of your flashback. I feel like that's long for flashback arc standards, but how many chapters was the Odin flashback? Let me see. "15 chapters." So that's probably what they'll probably do here too. I think that's pretty comparable. Which is crazy. It is pretty crazy that we're getting this. I still feel surreal that we're getting all of this information. Like Oda's ready to spill it, another god tier chapter. It really got to me. This series is so fucking good. I'm so lucky to be reading it week by week. But I say that every week now. So yeah, thank you for listening. Bye bye.